My parents gave my daughter a broken $5 toy for Christmas and said, "You're not the favorite. The real gifts are for your cousins." My daughter started crying. Everyone snickered, even my sister's kids. But 20 minutes later, the house went quiet when I gave them a gift they'd never forget. I ruined Christmas for my daughter. That's what I keep replaying. Not what they did, but that I brought her there knowing what kind of people they are. My parents made it clear who their real family is. My sister, her kids, my brother when he's quiet. I did the work at the family business, covered their mistakes. But when it came to love, I was last in line. Lily was never in line at all. Lily got excited, picked out a dress 2 days early, asked if she could bring the photo of her and Grandpa from last summer. We showed up Christmas morning and I knew within 10 seconds it was a mistake. My sister filming everything. Her twins in front of a mountain of gifts. No one said anything to Lily. The cousins got everything. iPads, bikes, sneakers, even the dog got a stocking. Finally, Mom pulled out a crumpled package. Inside was a cheap plastic horse with one leg broken off. Scratches everywhere, marker scribbled on it. Dad chuckled. "She's not the favorite. The real gifts are for your cousins." Everyone laughed, even the kids. Lily buried her face and cried. My brother told them this was disgusting. Dad told him to shut up. I took Lily to the hallway. She kept asking if they gave her the wrong gift. I said, "No, honey, that's it." Right there. 20 minutes later, I walked back calm, picked up the expensive gifts I'd brought, and put them back in my bag. "What are you doing?" Dad asked. "I have a Christmas gift of my own, and this one you won't forget." They thought it was a joke. Then I told them I'd been building something over the past year. My investor finalized everything last week. I was launching a business, direct competition, bigger than what they built, better model, none of their sketchy deals. Dad stopped smiling. Said I didn't have what it took. Mom went pale. "You didn't treat me like a daughter, and you sure as hell didn't treat Lily like a granddaughter. I'm walking away from the fire you've been lighting for years." My sister said I was being selfish. "Your kids are 8. They get iPads for existing." Lily brings a handmade photo frame and gets humiliated. My brother told them to stop, that this was overdue. Then he took Lily upstairs and said, "You should have done this years ago." Dad called me ungrateful. I reminded him I built everything. Every extra hour, every problem they dumped on me. Mom cried and said, "I ruined everything. I hope you enjoyed the last Christmas where I showed up pretending we were still a family." I got Lily and left. That night I sent the resignation email. I wouldn't be their backup plan anymore. The first few days were silent. Then Mom sent a message asking if Lily enjoyed her cute little horse. I left it on red. I poured myself into the business. Weeks later, I had an office, a team, and clients. By mid-January, 5 had signed. 2 were my parents' former clients. One said, "I always figured you were the engine behind everything anyway." By February, I got an invitation to dinner. "Let's reconnect," my brother called. Said their longest-standing client had ended their contract. I showed up. They made small talk. Then Dad offered me a partnership. Equal stake, full title. I asked why now. They danced around it. "Because your biggest clients are leaving. Because your project manager joined my company. Because you think I'm your life raft." I pulled out an envelope, slid it across the table. A buyout offer not for me to join them, for them to sell everything. Dad's face went red. Mom froze. My sister knocked over her wine. My brother walked in from the kitchen, said calmly, "I think she's offering you mercy." I told them they had 1 week to decide. My phone buzzed 3 minutes after I walked out. It was my brother. "They're not taking it," he said. Dad just called an emergency board meeting. They're planning something. I sat in my car, engine still running, staring at the restaurant in my rear view. Through the window, I could see them huddled at the table, my father's hands moving violently as he spoke. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Trent, the project manager who'd left them to join me. "Your dad just called me. Offered me double what you're paying, plus equity. Said I had 24 hours to decide or he'd make sure I never work in this industry again." Another text. This one from an unknown number. "This is Jennifer Klein from their accounting firm. We need to talk, tonight. I have documents you need to see. They're planning to freeze you out of everything you built, claim intellectual property theft, and bury you in legal fees until you're broke. I'm at the Starbucks on 5th. You have 1 hour before I change my mind." I started the car and drove. Jennifer was sitting in the corner booth when I arrived. Laptop open, 3 folders stacked beside her coffee. She was mid-40s, graying hair pulled back tight, and she looked nervous as hell. "Sit," she said before I could introduce myself. "We don't have much time." She slid the first folder across. Inside were documents I'd never seen before. Contracts with my name forged on them. Emails fabricated to look like I'd been stealing client information for months. A detailed legal strategy outlining how they'd paint me as a disgruntled employee who'd sabotaged the company before. "Leaving. Your father's been preparing this since the day after Christmas," Jennifer said. "The moment he realized you were serious, he started building a case. He's got 3 lawyers on retainer and enough falsified evidence to bury you in depositions for years." My hands were shaking. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I've worked for your family for 12 years and I'm tired of watching them destroy people." She opened the second folder. "This is everything. The real financial records showing where the money actually went. The contracts they breached. The clients they screwed over. Your father's been cooking the books for years, and your mother knew about all of it. I stared at the pages. Numbers that didn't add up. Payments to shell companies. Tax fraud. Insurance scams. My stomach turned. If they come after me with this, I held up the first folder. I can bury them with this. I tapped the second folder. Exactly. Mutually assured destruction. But here's the thing. Jennifer leaned forward. They don't know I'm here. And they don't know I've been documenting everything. I've got 7 years of evidence that could put your father in prison. Why now? Why help me? Her jaw tightened. Because what they did to Lily was the last straw. I have grandkids her age. Watching your father laugh while that little girl cried made me sick. I'm done protecting monsters. She slid the third folder over. This is my resignation letter and a full report I'm filing with the state board. It'll take them months to dig out from under the investigation. But you need to move first, tonight. I looked at my phone. 47 minutes since I'd left the restaurant. What do? You beat them to the punch. File an injunction against them first thing tomorrow morning. Use these documents to prove their fraud. Get ahead of their narrative before they can spin it. She stood up, closing her laptop. And get yourself a really good lawyer. Not one of the local guys your dad plays golf with. Someone from out of state who doesn't owe him any favors. Jennifer, this could destroy your career. She smiled, but it was sad. My career working for criminals? I'll take my chances with my conscience instead. She left before I could thank her properly. I sat there for another 20 minutes, reading through everything. The deeper I went, the sicker I felt. My parents weren't just bad people. They were criminals. And they'd built their little empire on fraud, lies, and destroyed relationships. I called my brother from the parking lot. Trevor, I need you to listen very carefully and not react. Can you do that? What's going on? Are you alone? Yeah, I'm in my car. They're still inside arguing about what to do about you. I told him everything. The documents. The fraud. Dad's plan to destroy me legally. Trevor was silent for so long I thought the call had dropped. Trevor? I'm here. I'm just processing. He exhaled loudly. I knew Dad was shady, but I didn't think it was this bad. What are you going to do? What I should have done years ago. I'm going to end this. Tomorrow morning, I'm filing everything with the authorities. Dad's going to prison, Trevor. Mom, too, probably. Good, he said quietly. They deserve it. After what they did to Lily, after everything they've put you through, they deserve whatever's coming. This is going to blow back on you, too. You're still working there. I quit. Tonight, I already typed up my resignation. He laughed, but it sounded broken. I was just waiting to see what you'd do first. I'm with you. Whatever you need. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every moment. Every time I'd covered for them. Every mistake I'd fixed. Every client I'd saved when they'd screwed something up. I'd been propping up criminals while they treated me and my daughter like garbage. At 3 a.m., Lily came into my room. Mommy, why are you crying? I hadn't even realized I pulled her into bed with me. I'm just sad, baby. About Grandma and Grandpa? Yeah. She was quiet for a minute. Then she said, that horse was really ugly. I laughed despite everything. It really was. Are we going to see them again? I looked at my daughter's face in the dim light from the hallway. Her eyes so much like mine. So hopeful still, even after everything. I don't think so, honey. Not for a long time. Okay, she said simply and curled up against me. Within minutes, she was asleep. I held her and made a decision. I wasn't just going to protect myself. I was going to protect her from ever feeling that way again. From ever doubting her worth because some bitter, broken people decided she didn't matter. The next morning, I met with the lawyer Jennifer had recommended. His name was Harrison Voss, and his office was 2 hours away in the city. He listened to everything without interrupting, reviewed the documents, and finally leaned back in his chair. This is airtight, he said. Your father's in serious trouble. We're talking fraud, tax evasion, possibly racketeering depending on how deep this goes. Your mother as co-owner and CFO is equally liable. And this stuff about coming after you? That's witness intimidation and harassment. How long? To file? I can have the injunction ready by end of day. The criminal referral to the DA will take a few more days to compile properly, but we'll beat your father's timeline by a mile. He looked at me seriously. You understand there's no going back from this? Once we file, your family is done. Your parents could go to prison. The business will likely be seized. Everyone who worked there will lose their jobs. The people who worked there worked for criminals. And my family was done the moment they handed my daughter a broken toy and laughed at her. Harrison nodded. Then let's bury them. By 4 p.m., the injunction was filed. By 6 p.m., my father's phone was ringing off the hook from his lawyers. By 8 p.m., my mother was calling me crying. I didn't answer. Trevor called at 9 p.m. Dad's losing his mind. He just smashed his computer. Mom's having a panic attack. They know you filed something, but their lawyers can't get details until tomorrow morning. Good. Let them stew in it. Tessa's blowing up my phone asking what's happening. She thinks you're having a breakdown. Tessa, my sister, the golden child who'd stood there filming while Lily cried. Tell Tessa she can read about it in the news. The next morning, my phone started ringing at 6 a.m. My mother, my father, Tessa, my aunt, family friends, people I hadn't spoken to in years. I blocked every number. At 10 a.m., Harrison called. Your father's lawyers just received the full filing. I'm told he went white as a sheet reading it. They're requesting an emergency meeting. No meetings. This goes through the courts. That's what I told them. They're threatening countersuits. Let them try. We have Jennifer's documentation. They have forged emails in desperation. The story broke in the local business journal that afternoon. Local company under investigation for fraud. By evening, it was on the news. By the next morning, federal investigators were involved. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing with messages from people I'd grown up with. Half of them were supportive. Half thought I was a traitor for turning on my family. I stopped reading them after a while. What I didn't expect was the flood of former employees reaching out. People who'd been fired or pushed out over the years. Each one had a story. Each one had been screwed over. And each one was willing to testify. Within a week, the case had grown from family drama to a full-scale investigation. The business was shut down pending the investigation. Assets were frozen. My parents couldn't touch any of their money. Tessa called from a number I didn't recognize. I answered before I thought better of it. How could you? She was crying. Do you have any idea what you've done? Mom and Dad could go to prison. The business is gone. Everything we worked for. Everything I worked for, I corrected. You just showed up for paychecks and photo ops. And what I've done? I told the truth. About the fraud. About the lies. About everything they've been hiding for years. You're destroying our family over a stupid toy. Over your hurt feelings. No, Tessa. I'm holding them accountable for decades of criminal behavior. The toy was just the moment I stopped making excuses for them. You're selfish. You always have been. This is just you throwing a tantrum because you were never the favorite. You're right. I wasn't, but you know what? Lily deserves better than to grow up thinking that's normal. That it's okay to be treated like she's worthless. You have kids, Tessa. How would you feel if someone did that to them? She was quiet. That's what I thought. Goodbye, Tessa. I blocked that number too. 3 weeks after filing, the DA's office called. They wanted to meet. Harrison and I sat across from 2 prosecutors who looked exhausted just from reading the case file. Ms. Hartwell, the lead prosecutor, said, "This case is significant. The level of fraud here, the number of victims, the time span, we're looking at serious prison time for your parents. Your testimony will be crucial. I'll testify. About all of it. There's something else. Your mother's attorney reached out. She's willing to cooperate fully. Testify against your father in exchange for a reduced sentence. I shouldn't have been surprised. Mom always did have a strong survival instinct, and your father, fighting it tooth and nail. His attorneys are pulling every trick in the book. But frankly, the evidence is overwhelming. With your mother's testimony and the documentation from Ms. Klein, conviction is almost certain. The trial took 8 months to start. In that time, my life changed completely. My business grew. Without the drama and stress of dealing with my parents, I could focus entirely on building something legitimate. Something I could be proud of. Lily thrived too. No more tense family dinners. No more holidays walking on eggshells. No more wondering why Grandma and Grandpa didn't love her. She started doing better in school, made more friends, smiled more. Trevor moved across the country and started fresh. He calls every week. We're rebuilding our relationship slowly, but it's honest now. No more pretending. No more covering for anyone. Jennifer found a job with a firm that specializes in forensic accounting. She said helping take down my parents was the most satisfying work of her career. The trial itself was brutal. Watching my mother on the stand, crying as she detailed years of fraud. Watching my father sit stone-faced as client after client testified about being cheated. When it was my turn, I kept my emotions in check. Answered every question directly. Didn't embellish. Didn't need to. The facts were damning enough. My father's lawyer tried to paint me as vengeful, as someone with an axe to grind. Harrison shut that down quickly by showing the Christmas photos. Lily's face as she opened that broken toy. My parents laughing. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. My father got 12 years. My mother got 5 thanks to her cooperation. Tessa showed up at my house the day of sentencing, screaming about how I destroyed everything. I closed the door in her face and called the police when she wouldn't leave. 6 months after the sentencing, life is quiet. Strange but quiet. I'm not looking over my shoulder anymore. Not waiting for the next crisis. Not cleaning up anyone's mess but my own. Lily and I had our own Christmas this year. Just the 2 of us and Trevor, who flew in for the week. We decorated cookies, watched movies, exchanged thoughtful gifts that actually meant something. Lily got an art set she'd been wanting. She made me a painting of the 2 of us. It's hanging in my office now. She hasn't asked about her grandparents in months. Last week, I got a letter from my mother. She's in a minimum security facility, apparently taking some kind of business ethics course. The irony wasn't lost on me. The letter was full of apologies and excuses. How she was caught up in my father's schemes. How she never meant for things to go so far. How she hoped someday I could forgive her. I read it once and threw it away. Some people think I'm too harsh. That family is family and I should have found another way. But those people didn't watch their daughter cry on Christmas because her own grandparents thought humiliating her was funny. Those people didn't spend years covering up crimes while being treated like they didn't matter. I sleep well at night. My daughter is happy. My business is successful. And the people who spent decades hurting others are finally facing consequences. That's not revenge. That's justice. And honestly, I do it all again. Update 1. It's been 18 months since the trial ended, and I thought I was done with all this. Thought I could just move on, build my life, raise my daughter in peace. Turns out, when you blow up a family like mine, the shrapnel keeps flying for years. Last Tuesday, I was in my office going over quarterly reports when my assistant buzzed me. "There's a woman here to see you. She says she's your sister." My stomach dropped. "Tell her I'm busy." She says it's an emergency. "Something about your mother." I almost told her to call security anyway, but something in my assistant's voice made me pause. Reluctance, like she'd seen something in Tessa's face that troubled her. "Fine. Send her in." Tessa looked terrible. She'd lost weight, dark circles under her eyes, her expensive highlights growing out, showing gray roots she'd normally never let anyone see. She was wearing jeans and a sweatshirt. Tessa, who'd never left the house without a full face of makeup and designer clothes. "What do you want?" She sat down without being invited. "Mom's sick. Really sick. The prison doctor found something during a routine exam. Pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. I kept my face neutral. Felt nothing. Or told myself I felt nothing. Okay. That's all you have to say? What do you want me to say, Tessa? That I'm sorry? That I'll drop everything and rush to her bedside? She's dying. The doctors give her maybe 6 months. Then she'll die in prison, where she belongs." Tessa's eyes filled with tears. "I know you're angry. I know you have every right to be. But she's still our mother. No. She was a woman who gave birth to me. A mother actually loves her children, treats them with respect. Doesn't participate in humiliating her granddaughter for fun. That was Dad's don't." I held up my hand. "Don't you dare blame this all on him. She was right there." She handed Lily that toy. She laughed. She knew exactly what she was doing. Tessa wiped her eyes. "The lawyer says she can apply for compassionate release, medical parole, but it requires family support. Someone has to agree to take her in, provide care. Absolutely not. Please. Just think about it." No, the answer is no. I will not house the woman who spent decades enabling fraud and abuse. I will not expose my daughter to her. I will not pretend we're suddenly a loving family because she's dying. People don't get to treat you like garbage for 30 years and then demand forgiveness when they're scared. What about forgiveness? What about mercy? I gave them mercy. I could have pushed for maximum sentences. I could have made sure they both got decades. Instead, I told the truth and let the justice system work. That was all the mercy they earned. She asks about you. About Lily. She cries every time I visit. Good. Maybe she should have thought about that before she spent my entire childhood making sure I knew I wasn't wanted. Before she participated in every scheme Dad ran. Before she looked my daughter in the eye and told her she wasn't the favorite. Tessa stood up. "You've become cold. I don't even recognize you anymore." "No, Tessa. I've become honest. There's a difference. You just can't see it because you're still living in the same delusion that let you stand there filming while Lily cried." She left without another word. I sat at my desk for a long time after, staring at nothing. My assistant brought me coffee, didn't say anything, just squeezed my shoulder and left. That night, I told Trevor about it over the phone. He was quiet for a long time. "You okay?" He finally asked. "I don't know. I thought I'd feel something, hearing that she's dying. But I just feel empty." That's not emptiness. That's boundaries. You protected yourself and Lily from people who hurt you. That she's sick now doesn't change what she did. Tessa thinks I'm heartless. Tessa's been making excuses for them her whole life. She doesn't get to judge you for refusing to do the same. But the conversation stuck with me. Over the next few days, I found myself thinking about my mother. Not the woman in prison, but the woman from my early childhood, before the business took over. Before the favoritism became so obvious, I remembered her braiding my hair for school, teaching me to bake cookies, reading to me at night. There had been good moments once. Before everything got twisted, Lily noticed I was distracted. "Mom, you okay?" We were making dinner together, one of our routines. She was 10 now, growing up so fast. Smart as hell and kind in ways I was still learning to be. "I'm fine, baby. Just thinking about some grown-up stuff." "Is it about Grandma?" I nearly dropped the knife I was holding. "How did you know?" "Aunt Tessa called. I answered your phone when you were in the shower. She told me Grandma was sick and that you were being mean by not helping." Red-hot anger flashed through me. "She had no right to tell you that." "I know what happened, Mom. I'm not a little kid anymore. I remember that Christmas. I remember how they made me feel." I turned to face her fully. "How do you feel about it?" She thought about it, biting her lip the way she did when she was working through something complicated. I think people don't get to be mean to you your whole life and then expect you to be nice just because they're sick. But I also think it's okay if you're sad. Even about people who hurt you. My daughter. 10 years old and wiser than most adults I knew. "I'm not sad she's dying," I said slowly, working it out as I spoke. "I'm sad about what could have been. About the mother she could have been but chose not to be. That makes sense." Lily went back to stirring the pasta sauce. Aunt Tessa was really pushy on the phone. She said, "You owe it to the family?" "I don't owe them anything." That's what I told her. She got mad and hung up. I pulled Lily into a hug. "When did you get so smart?" "I learned from watching you." The next few weeks were brutal. Tessa launched a full assault. Emails, texts from different numbers. Even showed up at my office twice more. The second time, security escorted her out when she refused to leave. She started a social media campaign, posted old family photos with captions about forgiveness and family values, about how I was letting our mother die alone. Her friends and my extended family piled on. Messages calling me heartless, cruel, unforgiving. Harrison called to warn me. Your sister's trying to paint you as the villain. It's not working legally, but it's causing noise. Let her. Anyone who knows the actual story knows the truth. But it did get to me. Late at night, I'd lie awake wondering if I was wrong, if I was being too harsh, if someday I'd regret this choice. Then I'd remember Lily's face on that Christmas morning. The way her little hands had trembled as she'd opened that gift. The way she'd looked at me, confused and hurt, asking why Grandma and Grandpa didn't like her, and I'd know I was doing the right thing. 3 months after Tessa's first visit, my mother's lawyer contacted Harrison directly. She wanted to see me, one last time before she got too sick. It's your choice, Harrison said. But if you do go, document everything. Record it if possible. Prisons have visitor logs, so there'll be proof either way if she tries to twist things later. I thought about it for a week. Finally, I agreed. Not because I owed her anything, but because I needed to look her in the eye and tell her exactly what I thought. Needed to close that door myself instead of letting her die with it hanging open. The prison was 3 hours away. I drove alone, left before dawn so I could be there and back before Lily got home from school. Trevor offered to come with me, but I needed to do this myself. The visiting room was exactly what you'd expect. Gray walls, plastic chairs, guards everywhere. I sat at a table and waited. When they brought her in, I almost didn't recognize her. She'd aged 20 years in the 18 months since sentencing. The cancer was eating her from the inside. She was thin, frail, her skin that papery yellow color that meant her liver was failing. She sat down across from me, handcuffed to the table, smiled weakly. Thank you for coming. I didn't return the smile. I came because I have things to say. You're going to sit there and listen. The smile faded. Okay. Do you remember when I was 7 and I won that writing contest at school? 3rd place in the whole district. I was so excited to tell you. I ran home with the certificate. You know what you said? She shook her head. You said, "That's nice, dear," and went back to your phone call. You never asked to read my story. Never put the certificate on the fridge. That was the first time I remember feeling invisible to you. I'm not done. Do you remember my high school graduation? I was valedictorian. Gave a speech. You left halfway through because Tessa called saying she needed a ride from the mall. You missed my entire speech for a shopping trip. Your father was there. Dad fell asleep during the ceremony. But that's not the point. The point is my entire life I was never quite good enough. Never quite the right kind of daughter. And I spent years trying to figure out what I did wrong. What was broken in me that made you unable to love me? Tears were rolling down her cheeks now. Good. Then I had Lily, and I watched you do the same thing to her. Watched you favor Tessa's kids while barely acknowledging my daughter. And that Christmas, when you handed her that broken toy and laughed, I finally understood. It wasn't me. It was you. You and Dad, you're just broken people who hurt everyone around you. I'm sorry, she whispered. I was wrong. About everything. I see that now. Do you? Or are you just scared because you're dying and you want to feel less guilty? Both. I was a terrible mother. I let your father influence me, let the business take over, let myself become someone I hate. But I did love you. I do love you. Love isn't just a feeling, Mom, it's actions. It's showing up. It's protecting your kids and treating them with respect. You didn't do any of that, so forgive me if your deathbed conversion doesn't move me. What about Lily? Can I at least write her a letter? Tell her I'm sorry? No, you don't get access to my daughter. You lost that right when you humiliated her for fun. Please. I just want to... No, this conversation is over. I came here to tell you that I don't forgive you. That I'm not sorry about any of it. That you earned every single consequence you're facing. And that when you die, I won't be at your funeral. I stood up. She reached for me, but the handcuffs stopped her short. Wait, please. Don't leave like this. Goodbye, Mom. I walked out and didn't look back. The drive home, I cried. Not because I regretted what I'd said, but because it was finally truly over. That chapter of my life was closed. Sealed. Done. When I got home, Lily was doing homework at the kitchen table. She looked up when I came in. How'd it go? It's over now. She studied my face. Do you feel better? Not yet. But I will. She got up and hugged me tight. I'm proud of you, Mom. That's when I lost it completely. Sobbed into my daughter's shoulder while she patted my back and told me it was okay. That we were okay. That we had each other, and that was enough. She was right. It was enough. More than enough. My mother died 6 weeks later. Tessa sent me a text with the details of the funeral. I deleted it without responding. Trevor sent flowers but didn't attend either. According to mutual friends, the funeral was small. Mostly Tessa's family and a few distant relatives. My father wasn't allowed to attend, still in prison. Tessa gave a eulogy about forgiveness and family, about how their mother loved them all, even those who'd turned their backs. I heard about it through the grapevine and felt nothing, just a distant curiosity, like hearing about a stranger's life. Life moved on. My business continued growing. Lily excelled in school. Trevor visited for Thanksgiving, and we had the kind of holiday I'd always wished for growing up. Real laughter. Genuine joy. No tension humming underneath everything. The Christmas after my mother died, Lily and I volunteered at a local shelter, helped serve dinner to families who had nowhere else to go. On the drive home, Lily said, "This was the best Christmas ever. Better than the one with the broken horse?" She laughed. Way better, because we actually did something that mattered. That night, tucking her into bed, she asked me something that caught me off guard. "Mom, do you think Grandma was happy before she died?" "I don't know, baby. I hope she found some peace. But you don't feel bad about not forgiving her?" "No, because forgiveness isn't something you owe people just because they're family or because they're dying. It's something you give when it's earned. And she never did the work to earn it." Lily thought about that. "I think that makes sense. Like, I forgave Callie for spreading that rumor about me because she actually apologized and stopped doing it. But if she just said sorry and kept being mean, that wouldn't count." "Exactly. You've got it figured out better than most adults." "That's because I have a good teacher." A few months later, my father's lawyer reached out. Dad wanted to see me. His parole hearing was coming up, and he was hoping for family support. I didn't even respond to the message. Tessa tried one more time. Showed up at my office on the anniversary of my mother's death. My assistant didn't even call up to ask, just had security remove her. That was the last time I heard from her directly. I heard through Trevor that she'd gotten divorced, lost the big house, was struggling financially. Turned out her entire lifestyle had been propped up by money from the family business. Without that, she couldn't maintain the facade. I felt a twinge of something. Not quite sympathy, but not satisfaction either. Just a kind of distant acknowledgement that actions have consequences for everyone. As for me, I'm doing more than fine. I'm happy. Genuinely deeply happy. My business just landed our biggest client yet. Lily's applying to art programs for high school. Trevor and I talk every week, sometimes about important things, sometimes about nothing at all. And here's what nobody tells you about cutting toxic people out of your life. Eventually, you stop missing what you thought you had and start appreciating what you actually have. The peace. The honesty. The relationships built on actual love instead of obligation. I haven't thought about my parents in months. When I do, it's distant. Like remembering a book I read once but didn't particularly enjoy. They're not villains in my story anymore. They're just people I used to know who made terrible choices. And I've made my choice too. To protect my daughter. To build something honest and good. To refuse to pass on generational trauma just because it's tradition. Last week, Lily brought home an award from school. First place in a regional art competition. She burst through the door, waving the certificate, her face lit up with joy. I dropped everything and hugged her tight. Told her how proud I was. We put the certificate on the fridge with magnets, right at eye level where everyone could see it. Then we went out for ice cream to celebrate. Later that night, she said, "You know what the best part was?" "What?" "Knowing you'd be excited. Not wondering if you'd care or if you'd forget. Just knowing. That's when I knew I'd broken the cycle. My daughter will never know what it's like to feel invisible in her own family. She'll never wonder if she's good enough. She'll know, always, that she is loved completely and unconditionally. And honestly, that's worth more than any reconciliation. Any forced forgiveness, any pretend family peace. I chose my daughter. I chose myself. I chose truth over comfort, and I'd do it again. Every single time. Update. 2 years after my mother's death, I thought I was finally free of all the family drama. Built my company into something I was genuinely proud of. Lily was thriving, 12 years old now, and more confident than I'd ever been at that age. Life was good, stable, peaceful. Then my father got released on parole. I found out from a lawyer. Not my father's lawyer, mine. Harrison called on a Tuesday afternoon, his voice careful in that way that meant bad news. "Your father's being released next month. Early release for good behavior in prison overcrowding. His parole officer is required to notify you as a victim in the original case." My hands went numb. "He got 12 years. It's only been 3. I know. The system's broken. But there's more. He's required to stay within the county, maintain employment, and stay away from any business involving finance or accounting. He's also barred from contacting you or Lily unless you explicitly consent." Good, because that'll never happen. There's something else. He's been reaching out to former business associates, trying to rebuild connections. Some of them have called me asking if you knew. Why would they call you? Because he's telling people you lied during his trial, that the evidence was fabricated, that you framed him out of spite over family drama. He's trying to rehabilitate his reputation. I laughed, but it wasn't funny. Let him try. Anyone who looks at the actual court records will see the truth. That's what I told them. But be prepared. He's going to make noise. Men like your father don't go quietly. He was right. Within a week of his release, my father started a social media presence. Created accounts claiming to tell the truth about wrongful conviction and families torn apart by lies. Posted old photos, carefully curated to make him look like the devoted family man instead of the criminal he was. The comments were split. People who didn't know the real story ate it up. Poor man, falsely accused by his ungrateful daughter. But people in our industry, people who knew what he'd done, they called him out hard. I ignored it. refused to engage. Harrison's advice was clear. Don't feed the narrative, let the facts speak for themselves. But my father wasn't done. He hired a PR firm, started doing podcast interviews about prison reform and wrongful convictions, twisted the entire story to make himself the victim. According to his version, I'd been an unstable employee who'd stolen from the company, then blamed him when I got caught. The Christmas incident with Lily? Never happened. Just a misunderstanding blown out of proportion by a vindictive daughter. Lily heard about it at school. One of her classmates' parents had seen the videos and mentioned it. She came home crying, something she hadn't done in years. Mom, people are saying you lied. That grandpa didn't do anything wrong. I sat her down, held her hands. Baby, listen to me. People who don't know the truth will believe whatever story is loudest. But we know what happened. The courts know what happened. The people who matter know what happened. But what if people think you're a liar? What if they think I'm a liar? Then those aren't people we need in our lives. The truth doesn't change just because someone's trying to rewrite history. But it bothered me more than I wanted to admit. Late at night, I'd scroll through his posts, reading the comments from strangers calling me horrible things. Part of me wanted to respond, to defend myself, to lay out every piece of evidence again. But I knew that's what he wanted, to drag me into a public fight where he could play the victim. So I stayed silent, then things escalated. My father showed up at one of my clients' offices, told them I'd stolen trade secrets from the family business and was using them illegally. The client called me immediately, confused and concerned. He seemed very convincing, they said. Had documents and everything. We obviously don't believe him, but we wanted to give you a heads up. I thanked them and called Harrison. He's actively trying to sabotage my business now. This is harassment. It's also a parole violation. Gather all the evidence. Every message, every interaction. I'll contact his parole officer. Over the next month, I documented everything. His social media posts, screenshots of him contacting my clients, witnesses who'd heard him spreading lies. It was exhausting, like fighting a ghost that wouldn't stay buried. Trevor was furious when I told him, he's supposed to stay away from you. This is exactly the kind of manipulation he's always done. I know, but proving it legally is different than knowing it's happening. The breaking point came when my father showed up at Lily's school. He'd apparently found out where she went and came during pickup time, standing by the parent lot with a sign that said, "Grandparents have rights too." The school called me immediately. I was there in 10 minutes, shaking with rage. Security had already escorted him off campus, but the damage was done. Lily had seen him. Other parents had seen him. Photos were already circulating on the school's parent Facebook group. I went straight to Harrison's office. File whatever we need to file. Restraining order, parole violation, all of it. He came to my daughter's school. That's enough. That's definitive violation of his parole terms. I'll have it filed by end of day. The restraining order hearing was scheduled within a week. My father showed up with a different lawyer, someone young and hungry looking who probably believed his victim's story. The judge was an older woman who looked tired of the system. She listened to both sides without expression. My father's lawyer painted me as paranoid and vindictive, said his client was simply trying to reconnect with family and clear his name. That showing up at the school was innocent, just a grandfather hoping to glimpse his granddaughter. My lawyer presented everything: the social media campaign, the client contacts, the school incident, photos of Lily crying after seeing him, letters from her therapist about the anxiety it had caused. The judge's expression shifted as she reviewed the evidence. When my father's lawyer started to object, she held up her hand. "I've read the original case file," she said. "I know what Mr. Hartwell was convicted of, and I've seen this pattern before. Abusers who can't let go even after facing consequences. The restraining order is granted. Mr. Hartwell is to have no direct or indirect contact with the petitioner or her daughter. He's not to come within 500 feet of their home, workplace, or school. He's not to mention them on social media or in any public forum. Violation will result in immediate arrest and parole revocation." My father stood up, started to protest. "Your Honor, this is exactly what I'm talking about. My daughter has been manipulating—" "Sit down, Mr. Hartwell. I'm not finished." The judge's voice could have frozen water. "I'm also recommending to your parole officer that your social media activity be monitored closely. If I see one more post attempting to harass or defame your daughter, you'll be back in prison finishing your full sentence. Are we clear?" He sat down, jaw clenched, eyes burning with rage. But he said, "Yes, Your Honor." Walking out of that courtroom, I felt lighter than I had in months. Lily was waiting with Trevor in the hallway. When she saw my face, she knew. Is it over? It's over. But of course it wasn't. Not completely. My father deleted his social media accounts, stopped the public campaign, but he found other ways to make his presence known. Anonymous emails to my clients spreading rumors, fake reviews of my business online. Nothing I could definitively prove came from him, but I knew. Then one evening, I got a call from Tessa. First time she'd managed to get through in over 2 years. "I need to talk to you about Dad. We have nothing to discuss. Please, just 5 minutes. It's important." Against my better judgment, I listened. "Dad's sick," she said. "Really sick this time. Something with his heart. The doctors say he needs surgery, but he doesn't have insurance and he can't afford it. I'm asking if you'll help?" I almost laughed. "Absolutely not. He could die." Then he dies. That's not my problem. How can you be so cold? He's your father. No, he's a man who contributed DNA. A father is someone who actually shows up for their kids. He never did that. Not once in my entire life. And now that he's sick and broke and needs something, suddenly I'm supposed to forget 30 years of abuse? He's changed. Prison changed him. Tessa, he showed up at Lily's school. He's been harassing my clients. He's been spreading lies online. That's not changed. That's the same manipulative man he's always been, just with a new strategy. But I'm going to say this once and then we're done. Dad made his choices. He chose to commit crimes. He chose to treat his family like garbage. He chose to try and destroy me even after facing consequences. Now he's facing the results of those choices. That's not my responsibility to fix. You're heartless. Mom was right about you. Good. Then you know not to call again. I blocked her number. Trevor called an hour later. Tessa called me too. Wanted me to convince you to help. I told her the same thing you did. You think we're wrong? For not helping? No, I think some people spend their whole lives burning bridges, then act shocked when there's no way back across. Dad made his choices. We're making ours. My father had the surgery. I heard through mutual acquaintances that Tessa went into debt paying for it, that he survived but was weakened, that he'd moved into her guest house since he couldn't afford his own place. I felt nothing hearing this. Not satisfaction, not guilt, just a kind of distant acknowledgement that consequences continued unfolding. Life moved on. My business hit a major milestone, broke into 7 figures for the first time. Lily started high school, got into the advanced art program she'd been hoping for. Trevor moved back to our city, started his own business with the skills he'd learned working for our parents. We had Sunday dinners. Just the 3 of us. Sometimes Trevor's new girlfriend joined. We laughed, made jokes, shared our weeks without fear of judgment or criticism. It was what family should have been all along. One evening, almost 3 years after my father's release, Harrison called with news. Your father passed away. Heart attack. Thought you should know in case Tessa tries to pull something? I thanked him and hung up. Sat there for a few minutes, waiting to feel something, anything. But there was just emptiness where grief should have been. When I told Lily, she looked up from her homework. Are you sad? No, are you? I didn't know him. Not really. I just remember that Christmas. That's probably all worth remembering. The funeral was the next week. Tessa sent a mass email with details, clearly hoping we'd attend. I deleted it. Trevor showed up for 5 minutes, paid his respects to the concept of a father he'd wished he'd had, then left. I stayed home, took Lily to her art class, had dinner with a friend, lived my life exactly as I had when my father was alive. Tessa sent one final message after the funeral. Just 3 words. I hope you're happy. I thought about it for a long time before responding. Finally, I wrote back, I am. Genuinely, deeply happy. I hope someday you can be too. She never responded. A year later, I was cleaning out some old files and found a box of childhood photos. Me as a kid, gap-toothed and smiling. My parents young before the business consumed them, before everything turned toxic. Looking at those photos, I felt something unexpected. Not grief for what I'd lost, but clarity about what I'd gained. I'd broken a cycle. Refused to pass on pain just because it was tradition. Lily would never know what it felt like to be invisible in her own home. To work herself to exhaustion trying to earn love that should have been freely given. To question her worth because the people who should have valued her didn't. That night, Lily came into my room with her portfolio. Want to see my final project for art class? It was a mixed media piece. Photos of us, me and her, layered with paint and fabric. In the center, she'd written, "Family isn't who you're born to. It's who shows up. It's perfect," I said and meant it. I know, she grinned. I learned from the best. We hung it in the living room, right above the couch where everyone could see it. A reminder that we'd built something better than what came before. That we'd chosen each other, chosen honesty, chosen love that was real instead of obligatory. My parents are both gone now. The family business is a distant memory. Tessa and I don't speak. In traditional terms, I suppose the family is destroyed. But sitting there with my daughter, looking at her art, surrounded by people we'd chosen to be in our lives, I realized something. We hadn't destroyed a family. We'd escaped one and built something better in its place. That's not tragedy. That's triumph, and I've never been more at peace.